Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Jeremy, welcome to Polyphonic Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing How to Become Clairvoyant by Robbie Robertson. Now, Robbie Robertson was the guitar player and the main songwriter for the band. If you don't know the band, I highly recommend checking them out. They put out some great albums, including their self-titled second album as well as their first album, Music from Big Pink. This is Robbie Robertson's fifth solo album and his first one since 1998. This album includes a lot of collaborations, including Eric Clapton, Steve Winwood, Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine, Robert Randolph, and Trent Reznor even plays on the track as well. The first song on the album is something called Straight Down the Line, which sort of features Robbie Robertson's laid-back, talking style of singing that you would probably hear on a song like Somewhere Down the Crazy River off of his first solo album. And also features Robert Randolph, who is a really, really cool bluesy slide guitar player. He plays a pedal steel guitar, and it just has a really cool vibe to it. Sort of bluesy, a little pop, a little rock. It's a really fun listen. The second song is something called When the Night Was Young, and it seems to be about someone of Robbie Robertson's generation reminiscing about like the 60s and the hippie movement and Woodstock. And it's really cool to hear someone talk about this era, especially someone who lived through it. But someone for a younger generation really probably wouldn't relate to it. Although this music isn't really geared towards someone of a younger generation. I'm 23 years old and I happen to like this type of music, but for someone who's like a casual rock music fan, they probably wouldn't understand this song and probably wouldn't be able to identify with it. This album sort of has an illusion going on with it. It gives the impression that it has the potential to captivate the listener, but it never really seems to get there. It sort of builds up to something and then sort of never really finishes off, and it's a little bit of a disappointment. I was actually really excited when this album came out, and as being a fan of the band and that kind of music, I was really excited when I heard that Robbie Robertson was even considering putting out a new album. But when I heard it, I was a little disappointed, and it just didn't really capture my attention the way I wanted it to. Eric Clapton actually plays a really big part in this album as well. On the song Fear of Falling, he actually shares lead vocals with Robbie Robertson. It's actually a duet between the two. And it's a really fun song to listen to, really bluesy, of course, because Eric Clapton is on it. It also features some really cool organ work by Steve Winwood, who obviously played with Eric Clapton in Blind Faith and has played with Eric Clapton many times since then. He just fits in really nicely with this song, and it was definitely a standout on this album. Madam X is another interesting song. It's actually an instrumental written by Eric Clapton himself. It's somewhat self-indulgent, and it could have and should have been left off the album. It really didn't fit in with the rest of the songs. It just didn't, when listening to the whole album from start to finish, it really didn't, it was sort of came out of, it didn't fit in. It just didn't fit. And I didn't really get why it was there. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that you have Eric Clapton there, and you just tell Eric, go onto the studio floor and just start playing. But honestly, it really didn't work for me. The song Axman is by far the most rocking song on the album. Actually features Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. It's a tribute to guitar players that Robbie Robertson has admired over the years. It references people like Duane Allman, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and B.B. King, among others. And as a guitar player myself, I really enjoyed listening to this song and hearing about the different guitar players that Robbie Robertson has admired over the years. And it was a really cool sort of tribute to the people before and obviously the people now, because it features Tom Morello, who obviously is an amazing guitar player. The album closes with a song called Tango for Diango. And it's another instrumental song. It sort of sounds like background music to a Western movie, like an old Western. which is probably because Robbie Robertson has spent the last 10 years doing scores for films. But honestly, like the other instrumental song, like Madam X, it really didn't fit on the album. It sort of came out of left field. Didn't really fit on with the rest of the songs. And honestly, I didn't really get it. Didn't really understand why it was there. It just didn't work for me as an album closer. Again, it should have been left off the album. It just didn't really flow. So I'm gonna give this album a 6 out of 10. It was, an enjoyable listen, but really not a lot of weak spots on here, and really it just didn't live up to what I had hoped it would. But still an enjoyable listen. So that's my opinion on the album. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment or even a video reply. Just want to remind you of our Twitter and Facebook pages. Links are in the description, as well as our website, polyphonicpress.tk. If you have an album that you would like me to review, send me a message on YouTube. That's probably the best way to get in touch with me. And I guess I'll see you guys on Thursday. Take care.